that album.
Oh, yeah. I think
Clap, don't pee. I just want
I
you to
know
realize
that 100 episodes.
Yeah, it's same joke over and over and over.
It never gets funny.
It's like a classic. Like a knock-knock joke.
It's like a dad joke that just keeps on being rehashed, Chad. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is behind the scenes recording of our podcast. If you want to check out more, visit www.carnivoretheology.com. And, all the good content is there. And check it out there.
That was relaxed.
Let's relax.
Ready to get into the episode?
I am.
Oh, I am so excited to finally record this 100th episode. I've been waiting for too long. In fact, for the fact that we stopped at 98 last season bugged me so much, Steve.
I know. I mean, you tweeted about it all summer long, how much you hated that we finished at 98.
I'm so frustrated. But here it is. We're at episode 100. We get to go in. We're finally at the Carnivore Theology Community Church and Steakhouse, getting ready to sit down in our luxurious worship hall and actually just record one of these episodes. We earned it. We earned it, boys. We earned it.
Yep.
Boys, where the heck is Chad? He was supposed to meet us here.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll go in. I'll tell you what, we'll go in. We'll get the stuff set up so that we can record. And
we'll get Chad's favorite pint poured for him. He'll be along.
There you go. Okay, Steve, after you.
Okay.
Whoosh.
Hey.
What is that? Okay.
Okay.
That's never happened before.
When did we get security doors installed?
We should be allowed in. This is our place. What is going on here?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Who's that?
That's Chad.
If you'll turn your attention to the one-way glass behind you, I would like to cordially welcome you to the meat grinder.
What? No, we do the meat grinder. What are you talking about?
Well,
I am the only one who does the meat grinder. Come on.
I was told that you guys had special ideas for this show. Well, the meat grinder is a biblical knowledge and personal integrity examination to see if you two are worthy of bringing your ideas to the 100th episode of Carnivore Theology. This is no ordinary episode, Al. This one is special. And I'm just frankly not sure if you're worthy to be in the same room with me.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh, wait,
but at least
you can't even leave. No, you cannot leave. You're pressure relief doors.
Do I get a free pass in? Because you're talking to Al by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's primarily about Al, but I thought, it's really important to me that all people are treated with procedural fairness. I'm thinking administrative law, and you have to treat people the same.
So the fact that you came with me is the problem.
Yeah, it's the fact that you came
in. Once again, being Al's friend is the downer.
It doesn't work out. Doesn't work out.
So for this episode of Carnivore Theology's Meat Grinder, I'm going to be asking these two guys some really important questions that dissect their theology. They must answer honestly and quickly. Whatever comes to mind. Indecisiveness, of course, will be seen as a weakness.
See, Chad, it's not as easy as it looks. Come on.
And the best part is that I do, in fact, control the air that goes between those doors.
Oh.
So should you answer what I feel to be subpar, we won't have to worry about you interfering with the episode.
Oh,
you said you control the air. Have you taken your lactate today?
This is is that what that means? All right. Okay.
I'm gonna sit back, drink my coffee, and ask a few questions. Who's first?
I'm first. I'm ready. That's it.
Okay. All right. All I have to do is do better than Al. Good.
Yes. Do you think that we need to stick Steve into the cone of silence?
Do you have one in here?
Cone of seclusion?
This used to be a door that opened to our wonderful church and steakhouse. Now it seems to be like that place in E.T. with all the white beard people.
All right. Al?
Okay. Yeah.
Answer the following questions honestly and quickly.
Gun.
You will be asked 10 questions. Question number 1 begins. Wesley, Whitfield, or Teresa of Avalon?
Whitfield.
Oh, good answer. Yes. Your preference, beard beads or Christmas lights?
Oh my gosh, that is so hard. You know what? I'm going to have to go with Christmas lights.
Communion, white or red juice?
Only juice, of course. And I'm going to have to go with red. Red. Yeah, no, red. Yeah.
Will there be vegans in heaven?
Oh man, if Psalm 23, I will be seated at the table with my enemies. I'm going to go with a solid maybe. A solid maybe, probably. Jesus' grace is quite amazing, so I'm going to go with solid maybe.
If you had to pick one non-biblical book other than Wayne Grudem's Systematic Theology, what would it be?
Just to Desert Island, or just to prop up a door? What am I doing with that book?
Desert Island.
Desert Island. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Pilgrim's Progress. Absolutely, 100% Pilgrim's Progress.
That's an excellent choice.
Yeah.
All right. Flames or Senators?
Well, not the Flames. I couldn't actually do that.
That's indecisiveness.
No, I was.
Where's the air valve?
I was waiting for Oilers, and I'm just stunned by the options. I'm like,
yes, this is called the meat grinder, not the wussy softball answers.
Death or cake?
Oh man! All right, fine. That's gonna be a big negative. Favorite bacon flavor?
Favorite bacon flavor? Oh, apple smoke. Absolutely, apple smoke. But if you take an apple smoke and you cook it a little bit too long, you throw it into take that out and then you throw it into a pan with maple syrup, and you actually caramelize the maple syrup. Throw in the bacon on top of the caramelized maple syrup. Turn it over twice. Put it onto a plate. Let it cool so that it actually candies over top. That is my favorite flavor of bacon.
All right. Well, that seems to be a bonus point there. Communion. Before, after, or independent of baptism?
Oh, before. Absolutely before. 100%
communion
totally.
Before baptism?
Communion before baptism, yes. You can have communion, and then you should get baptized.
Okay.
No.
All right, Elle. Big questions. 2 more left. Question number 9. Wonder Woman or Supergirl?
Supergirl, 100%. Love Supergirl so much. That show is awesome.
All right. And now, for a personalized question selected just for Elle.
These have all felt pretty personal.
Like any of the other ones. They say, if you can't do, teach. Is a pastor a teacher?
Yes. Yes, I'm a equipper of the brethren to do the good works that God has set them out to do, and therefore I don't have to do them. That's what the Bible says.
That sounds about right.
Yep,
all right, let's put those answers through the meat computer thing.
Well, okay. Now I'm nervous because Chad doesn't know how to use a computer. All right.
I think I pushed this button over here.
Next Chad, to the air release valve.
Stop hitting it with the stick, Chad. Stop.
All right.
It's not working.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
You're tallying me different than Steve. I appreciate not putting in the same answers at the same time. That would be a problem.
Okay, well, I can't figure out how to work the computer, so I'm just going to have to make a personal judgment. I see we got a -1 for that, +1 for that. Actually, I think Elle gets through on about 52%. Like, that's 2% higher than I thought he'd get.
Just like in seminary.
We'll release one of those doors.
Just like in seminary. Run, Steve! Go! Oh, man.
Yeah, sorry, Steve's trapped.
Too slow.
All right. Elle, you've made it in, but Steve, I'm sorry, Elle and I might have to do without you.
Oh, not again.
In fact, if I can't figure out how to make these doors work again, you might be in there for the whole episode.
I'm just surprised the ceiling isn't closing down on me like you like to do.
All right. Well, Steve, welcome to the meat grinder. You're on personal test of my vindictiveness.
Yeah, you're not reading the script I gave you, did you?
Going downhill.
All right.
Okay, future Chad, look back at this and decide if you ever should become a judge.
All right. You ready?
I'm always ready.
Youngie Cho, Joel Osteen, or Amy Semple McPherson?
Okay. The only name I know is Joel Osteen, and I don't like Joel Osteen. So what was the first guy again?
Young Cho.
Young
or
Cho?
David Cho.
I like that name, sure.
All right, well, they're all heretics, so Steve picked a false teacher. So
the right answer was none.
The right answer was none of the above. So that's a negative for Steve so far. All right.
Okay.
All right. Steve, for you, your answers for the next one are your preference here on something very, very important.
Yep.
All right. Clean shaven or soul patch?
Soul patch.
All right.
that was even hard.
At least it's a little bit of hair.
Communion, dry little wafers or single loaf of bread that everyone sticks their grubby little hands into?
Oh, the little wafers by far. I don't even trust myself after the touching the stuff.
People, yeah, everybody goes and shakes hands and they go grab that bread. That's gross.
Yeah. You shouldn't do the fellowship time before you do the grabbing of the bread. All right. Now, this is a really critical answer. Will there be school administrators in heaven?
I hope not. I hope to have some free time.
You hope to graduate. That's good.
I want my own personal cloud to put my behind in and just sit back, man.
All right. Steve, if you were going to have to stay at Al's house for a week, pick one book other than the Bible that you would want to have with you.
Al's house for a week. I'll probably pick St. Augustine's City of God. You know, it's really big and long, and I have lots of excuses to get out and read the book. And
where's Steve?
Totally makes sense. All right, number 6. This is a good one, Steve.
Dinner and then...
The sporting question. Are you ready?
Yep.
Oilers or Canucks?
Ooh.
I actually have to pick the Oilers over Canucks. They at least have a good hockey player on the team. One or two of them, right?
Yeah. He actually went for an answer. I just want to note that was very impressive.
I'm not indecisive at all.
That almost makes up for picking a heretic in the first question.
Good.
Now, Steve, this one's going to probably throw you quite a bit.
Okay.
Your favorite flavor of pie?
Oh, my favorite flavor of pie is the pie that my wife makes. It's a pumpkin pie where she gets like this walnut granola stuff that she puts on top, and then a big pile of real whipped cream on top. That
is good.
She makes it every Thanksgiving, and can't wait for like 2 weeks from now.
Nice.
Yes.
Good answer.
All
You
right.
can't go wrong with my wife's pie. You can never go wrong with that answer.
It's amazing. She knew I liked pie, and she actually worked on different recipes until she found one that I'm like, do not ever touch the recipe. This is amazing.
She loves you.
All right.
She does.
Communion. Consubstantiation, transubstantiation, or spiritual presence?
Oh, this is going back to Bible college, man. I totally forget what those mean. hey,
don't be indecisive. Con, trans, or spiritual?
Spiritual. C.
Oh, good answer. Yeah.
Good answer. Very good. Well done. Yeah.
I was just going by ACDC on the test. So.
Yes.
Abacadabra.
All right. And of course, speaking of superhero sidekicks, Robin
as you
or
are to
Arthur?
me. That's what he means.
Arthur.
Whoa!
Oh man, I love the Tick.
The Tick. All right, and now have you? All right, personalized question for Steve. Montessori schools, a bunch of hippies, or the future of education?
Oh,
why not both?
I was gonna say that is. I would say a bit of both for sure. That's some good things for Montessori. Kind of starts to fade out after a grade 4 or 5. It gets a little tougher as a trained educator with the classically trained university system. So a bit of both.
There's only so many subjects you can do with hemp.
All right.
Well, you weave it. There's other things that people do here too, but I'm not good at that one. So,
Al, you're here now. Do you want to see if you can figure out how this computer thing works?
Hold on. Okay, I'll program it. Wop, 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 wop.
Uh-oh. That is not looking good for Steve.
Steve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you I'm going to email you the the ductwork plans that we put out together, so you can get your way in here, get around the computer security. Okay, so just do it like Die Hard style, where you just take off your shoes and work your way through. We'll meet you on the inside. Okay.
Can you slide up in the air vents a big thing of butter?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot through a couple one of those. I can't believe it's not butter.
Awesome.
Around here, and you just grease yourself up real good, and I'll meet you on the inside.
Okay.
Is that the sound that Steve makes on his way through?
No, it's more like the nurse. Oh.
No, Steve, Chad, turn on the AC. The HVAC will shoot him out like a bullet.
Oh man, that totally reminds me of the guy in Community who lives in the ducks for like a season. The Spanish teacher, security guard guy.
Yeah.
All right, is it my turn now?
Right. Yeah,
we're in.
So,
let's get this episode on the run.
Okay,
Steve, somebody's got to give Steve some clothes, though.
Okay, clothes, towel. Keep that lighter away from me. Okay, guys, this is the 100th episode. We're kind of looking back at a few things. We really appreciate that people have actually listened. Some people have listened to all 100 episodes. I mean, that's like, 30 boring hours of listening to Al rant about things, and Chad just sounds smart, and then there's a few moments of highlights. There's about an hour of good stuff in there too. So I appreciate, no, it's amazing. But totally. It's the 100th episode. Let's celebrate it Muppet style, guys.
Muppet style.
Oh, there we go. Okay. For the 100th episode, we have a special contest. Woo-hoo! And if you're watching the video, here is a completed version of one of the prizes.
So nice.
Well, that looks so good, Steve.
Cool.
I colored it myself.
Man.
Anyway,
and explain what that is.
That is a 3D printed Carnivore Theology desk ornament.
Woo! It's so cool looking.
Yeah.
And we will send that to you if you...
Yes. If you share this episode, you comment on this episode, I'll even accept liking this episode.
Anything this episode.
Anything to do with the 100th episode.
Absolutely.
The more you do, the more entries you'll get. And we have several of these ready to go. So I'll see if I even get more printed, if how many we'll get. But we got these ready to go. We will mail it to you, no cost to you, and you can have something personalized that Al and I made together. He did the cool
there's a bit of a cost too. You got to like or share or comment.
Yeah.
Right. Contest closes on Halloween.
Halloween.
Lots of time to get this. So the contest closes Halloween. Just get it out there.
Absolutely.
That way your ornament will be there in time for Christmas in case you want to gift it to that special someone.
Yeah, and if you share the episode on Facebook or somehow like that, let me know that you've done that, and you'll get 10 times entries for that action.
Yeah, 10 times. Sharing is important.
Mm-hmm. It really helps with moving things forward.
As Steve tells his kids, Jesus wants you to share.
That's right.
Absolutely. We're a sharing, caring family.
That's right.
So,
all right, but there's something else.
There is something.
But wait, that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
There is something new on the website, and it's for a limited time. It is a new merchandise store with new, backed by popular demand, T-shirts.
And
mugs and a tote bag, right?
Yeah, and a tote bag and a sweater.
Yes.
I'm actually super pumped about the mug.
Way better. It's like they really improved their system. It used to be you could only do a shirt. You couldn't even do a girl shirt. That had to be a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But now you can do men's shirt, women's shirt,
different
sweater,
colors. You can choose the colors of all these things.
Steve's going to get one of each and wear the girl shirt on Tuesday, the boy shirt on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Chad, you're the only one that wears V-neck shirts.
But it's only on for 21 days.
What are you talking about?
Okay. It's only on for 21 days. So that means you have to make a decision and you have to do it in 21 days. So
or less.
Get out there and do that.
Started yesterday, so there's probably only 20 days left.
It's a good deal. The shipping's not that bad. And we are able to, it'll help us out a little bit. But at the same time, we wanted to get more merch out there so you could wear it to your church and various events in your life.
Absolutely. And
like your wedding, for example.
Like your wedding.
Yeah. So definitely get out, wear those. Any proceeds from these shirts, mugs, sweaters, tote bags is going to go directly to paying for our website costs and some of those hidden costs to have what we're doing behind. So,
ladies, why spend $5,000 on a wedding gown when you can spend $40 on a Carnivore Theology T-shirt?
Absolutely. Also, Steve was talking about having maybe another contest for people like we did last time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wearing your Carnivore Theology shirt and then you take a picture somewhere, then you could win some prizes. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Our last contest winner, Tim, sent us a thank you for all of his Dairy Queen meat and milk.
Ooh, good. He should.
Yeah. So, okay. There you go, Tim. You did the right thing.
Listen,
manners are important.
If we're going to spend 50% of our budget on one guy.
Okay. So, this is how there's an episode. We're looking back at a few things. We're having a little bit of fun. So, Al, I know you worked very hard to do something special, and I have no idea what you're doing. I'm a little scared, actually.
All right.
Chad, did he tell you what he was doing?
No, I've kind of ignored both you guys because Al sent you a thing saying don't look at anything so we're surprised or something. So I just took that as gospel truth. And
all right.
ignored everything.
Take it away, Al.
All right. So this is, I'm going to share my screen here with sound. And I want you to take a look at, or I want you to listen to this sound. And I want to preface this by saying, okay, listen, this is from the first episode, the very first episode. So I want you to listen to this and see, and then I want to get your thoughts on it.
Just to introduce ourselves and who we are and how we're connected. I'll actually throw this at Chad. Chad, why are you involved in the podcast, and how do you know Al?
Steve's coming a long way.
I'm primarily involved because I like the pizza here at Chuck E. Cheese. But secondarily, because Steve and Al and myself have been friends for a long time, since we were all at NABC together, which became Taylor University College, which became defunct. And so really, none of us probably have actually graduated, or at least we're defunct. And we have carried on a friendship and a dialogue the last, 15 years? And we talk about all kinds of things. And I think, from my perspective anyway, we just thought it would be fun to let people listen in to the interesting, quirky, and often helpful things we talk about.
Often helpful. Well, Chad, you explained it well. Any other comments on that, Al, that you would like to say about why are we doing this?
Bad?
Well, it started sort of with an idea for me because we all got together one time. We were talking about how we all have these struggles. We all have these conversations. Wouldn't it be nice if we could go somewhere and listen to people be able to talk about some of the issues that we don't hear talk about very often? You were talking about guys in your life that could really benefit from being able to find topics that actually are meaningful to them and that big questions and stuff. And I thought, well, why don't we try to do this? We talk about this stuff all the time. So let's record it and see if other people want to listen to it.
Yeah, that's exactly. You mentioned my motivation there. And, I'm around other people, and they bring up these questions, and
totally
I don't have the answer always, and I really want to be able to. That happens, as that verse from Hebrews says. And further that even in my own life. So.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah.
So basically, Steve, you're saying you get asked hard questions and you want to sound smart, so you're pooling everybody's intelligence together, and if the three of us can come up with an answer, you can claim it.
That's good.
Absolutely right.
That started at the shallow end of the pool.
That has not changed. The art of appearing wise is not always having the right answer. It's also being able to research and to present it as you know.
All right, so that was our mission when we set out on this thing. That was our mission. What we said we were going to do. What are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to talk to your computer and sound like you're smart. It sounds like.
Can you put your pictures back on?
I got a couple more clips.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
all right.
Chad even noticed the sound quality. Al isn't like Chad noticed the sound quality difference.
Yeah, we definitely gonna. But at the same time, I thought it was amazing that after 100 episodes, our mission hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing and why we're doing it has not changed.
Mission creep. We are not the United States government.
No, it's good. Okay.
When we get involved in a war, we know what we're doing.
I wanted to hear what your thoughts are, but apparently you guys don't have very many.
No, we've come a long ways. I've definitely improved slightly in my question asking ability.
You certainly have. That is 100% true.
And it's been fun, I think, to carry on the idea of having these conversations about important issues. It's a highlight for me. I like to sit down and chat through, think through some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I find it amazing people actually ask me questions going, hey, have you ever figured this one out? And I actually go, oh, that's one of the episodes. I go home and looked, and it's episode 93 or whatever.
So, we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? We're going to do number 2. So the question here is, what subject are we actually talking about? Okay.
I actually found that there is a place where you can get prayer bibs. And so I've ordered one for myself, and the rest of this podcast is going to go particularly well because I have the special bib blessing.
I thought that was to catch your theological drool.
I did use the budget for this, so that was pretty much all we could afford. And I've ordered one for each of you guys. It'll be coming in the mail. The special prayer bib allows you to eat without having to say a prayer before your meal. It's already been done for you. It's basically a time-saving device.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was from the Magic Handkerchief episode, was it not?
That was the Magic Handkerchief episode.
Magic Handkerchief. We were talking about items that have special abilities, spiritual properties.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That could have been a contest we could have asked people to answer.
Did Chad know? I
would not have won the T-shirt.
Chad did not know.
I said, that guy sounds like some kind of an idiot. I don't know who that was.
What's this moron rambling?
He's talking about his bib, his special bib.
Sounds like he's talking from a tunnel somewhere. Yeah.
With his microphone not set up correctly again.
All right, you ready to listen to to the third one? Okay. What do these clips? This is a bit of a longer clip. I want you to just, what do these clips have in common?
Yeah. There's no Switzerland in the spiritual realm.
There's no Switzerland. There you go. I'm getting that on a T-shirt.
Hey, Al, what's that? Do you see a shimmering behind Steve over there?
Oh, man.
It looks like it's kind of a strange shape. It looks like...
What is that?
It looks like... Steve, is that something reaching up behind your back to grab you? Al, let's get out of here. Steve, I don't know what's going on, but Steve's gone.
Steve drove upstairs to Sparkle. I'm out of here. Bye, Steve!
See ya!
Leave him behind!
I think Steve was kidnapped by aliens.
Okay. And we're on top. Wow, is it ever cold up here?
Steve didn't make it.
Okay, I feel like we forgot something. I think we forgot Steve. Steve.
No, he might have fallen off. I heard a scream about halfway up. All right.
Keep moving. Just keep moving. Okay. There goes. Okay, Steve's going up the ladder. That's good. Chad.
Yeah, let's... hey, how's it looking, Steve? Let's get up there, man.
Chad.
Yeah?
Chad. Look at the front of the bow. Do you see? It's the SS Bloodbath.
Bloodbath?
Bloodbath.
That's a weird name for a ship.
And I further inspect the fact that if you look up there, you see that black flag with the
skull and bones.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, this is a bad idea.
Well, why don't we just swim this, okay?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, guys.
Okay,
they got peg legs.
See ya!
Hey,
Bye, Steve! Bye!
come on back.
Leave him behind!
Hey, what are they have sharp knives? Hi, guys. And nice peg legs. I turn wood. I could probably make you a few.
Okay, we ready? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! Go!
Those aren't reasons. Steve can't keep up with us. Keep going. They'll take you down.
Leave him behind!
Look in the eye.
Last time you were into this place, a butterfly landed on your head. You freaked out and you ran away. We're not doing that today, okay? We're not doing that today.
Let me hold the curtain open for you guys. Come on in.
There's another bug! Okay, we're not sitting over there. We're sitting over there. I thought the butter...
There are two sides. There's a beautiful garden walk to our left, and we've just entered into the butterfly conservatory. And I love this. Look at these beautiful wings. And they land on the fruit and they eat it. Is there a fruit on your head, Steve?
Is there another one on my head again?
Actually, there are 4.
Ah! Get it off! Get it off! Get it off! Get it off!
Ah!
I'm out of here too. Behind. Leave him behind. Leave him behind. Wait, don't go out of the curtain before the butterflies come off your head. Hold him in, Al. Hold him in. Oh, leave him behind.
Just curious what you thought maybe the similarities were in those.
I didn't pick anything out.
Nothing?
Well, actually,
stood out to you?
Yeah, no. There was a theme in L. Leave him behind. Leave him behind.
Yeah, that's what Al did all through college. Hey, leave Steve behind. He's not cool. Leave him behind, right?
That sounds like some poor friends, just some kind of cruel people.
Yeah, some kind of jerkwads.
I was trying to total up how many times we've killed Steve over the last 100 episodes, and I'm pretty sure I came up with at least 5.
Yeah. So have you played that clip for your kids? Because I know they quite enjoy the death of Steve in episodes.
They absolutely do. It's some of their favorites. In fact, they'll listen to the first part and then they'll listen to the last part of an episode. Skip the whole middle.
See if
bit.
Steve dies.
Yeah.
I love you guys too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was my thing. I just wanted to take a little trip down memory lane with you and see what you guys thought.
In fact, I think those are the 3 most important things about Carnivore Theology. Why we started. I forget what the second one was. I'm sure it was important. And then how Steve dies all the time.
I believe the second one was the subject we talk about.
Oh, yes. That's the part I always forget.
Yeah.
Okay. I have something for you guys for this 100th episode. I want to play a little game first, and then we'll get into a little bit more meat behind the subject.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to basically say a name of something, and you have to admit honestly, no omitting allowed, if you ever participated in this thing.
This is under oath. Hand on the
Under
Bible.
oath. Yep.
All right.
Okay. Have you ever played with a Rubik's Cube?
Which one is that? Is that the square thing?
That's the square one with the colors.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, yep. I generally pick them up for about 10 seconds and put them down. I'm so bad.
Okay, lava lamps. Have you ever had a lava lamp?
I wanted one, but no.
No.
Ever had a BMX bike?
Oh, yeah. Mine was yellow and blue.
Have you ever worn a onesie?
I've worn a singlet in wrestling. Does that count?
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
No, I can't say I've ever worn a one. Probably not since I was a baby.
Wait. What about Ugg boots? Do either of you have Ugg boots? Or ever
I don't know
had?
what that is.
We have Ugg boots in our house. We have a couple pair of Ugg boots in our house, but I don't wear them. The girls do.
Okay. Have you ever played with Transformers?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you mean GoBots?
Chad,
rescue bots, roll to the rescue.
Okay. What about a blow-up chair? Ever had a blow-up chair?
Oh, like
inflatable.
I did not. I have not owned an inflatable chair.
Can't think of one.
Have you ever played Pokemon Go?
Yes. Yeah. I love Pokemon Go. That was fun. All of 10 minutes. Maybe
that was fun. That's
until I went out of the house and I realized I'm outdoors. This isn't fun at all.
I did hear about it, so.
Okay. My Little Pony.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, Steve Al is a brony.
I'm an absolute brony.
I'm trying to think if I've.
Did you ever own one?
Oh, I've never owned one.
Did your sister ever make you play with one of hers?
That's what I was trying to remember. She must have.
What My Little Pony is most like Chad, Al? Which one would you say?
Twilight Sparkle.
Okay, there we go.
One.
Yeah, so Chad answers yes. Gangnam Style. Have you ever danced to Gangnam Style?
Open Gangnam Style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Gangnam Style. Okay.
I've actually been in the Gangnam community of Korea, if that helps.
Have you really? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you went clubbing? Just so I understand the song is about.
It is, but there's it's a popular. It's just a cool district shopping.
Okay. Did either of you ever own a calculator watch?
No, I wanted one so bad.
I saved up my own money for one. I did own one.
I didn't.
I think grade 6, and then I wasn't allowed to wear it at school.
Nerd
alert. Candy, bracelets, or necklaces? Did you ever have those as kids?
My kids have had them, but
they never went around my neck. I definitely had them, but I've never wore them as a necklace.
Yeah, I feel like you just ate them.
They're made of candy.
Yeah.
Okay. Did either of you ever own or sleep in a waterbed?
Oh,
Yes!
I did.
Oh yeah. In fact, I was I had one for a year when I was in, I think it was grade 11 or 12, and my parents actually had to take it away because I wouldn't get out of it. I just wouldn't get it.
Turn the heat up and.
Fun fact: to this day, when I'm before I go to bed or when I wake up, I start kicking, like unconsciously kicking the bed to try to make waves. One time, my friends, when we were down in the basement, they decided we were going to feint each other, and so I was going to go first, which means basically stand up against the wall, they choke you until you pass out, and that's always fun.
Really?
And so when I woke up, my legs started twitching like crazy because my brain is like, you're on your waterbed, make it go so that you can rock yourself, And they thought I was having a weird seizure that they'd killed me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
that went weird real quick.
yeah.
Have either of you?
So,
Yes, waterbed for both of you.
Yep.
yes.
Okay. Planking. Have you ever done planking? Are you like do the flat thing, take a picture?
I'm neither flat nor do I have the abdominal strength to hold myself flat on anything.
I do planks about twice a week at the gym. Is that what you mean?
Planking back in the day, planking was you'd go find yourself somewhere, like on a wall or a bench or something, and you'd make yourself flat and take a picture, and they call that planking.
Oh no, I never did that.
No, Chad's more into owling. Pet rocks. Have either of you ever had pet rocks?
No.
No, pet rocks are dumb.
Last one, and I know the answer.
Although that being said, we do have a moss ball, and we think it's awesome. It's got its own personality. We think it's great.
Twerking. Have either of you ever twerked? And I'm looking at you, Chad, because I know the answer. We have it on video evidence.
Oh, then I did? I don't know. What is that?
That's when you shake your butt up and down while dancing.
Oh, I could totally do that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're thinking about doing a PSA on this later, but I'm one of the small percentage of people that were born without a butt, and so therefore I can't twerk. We're gonna be raising some money for setting up an island.
A GoFundMe page.
Oh, isn't that the Miley Cyrus thing from the VMAs or whatever that was all
Yeah.
weird?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't do that.
Okay, so guys, all those things are fads. I've found a list of the 100 fads that kind of around people our age are aware of or have participated in.
And that's it? There wasn't any more?
There's 100.
There was 100, but we couldn't possibly do 100 in this episode.
Big list, but it would take too long, and I think people would be bored, and I think also slightly disturbed, and probably write you guys off as pastoral people.
Yeah.
So,
what with the twerking to their out business?
Yeah. So, what do fads say about our culture?
Fads, the term fad itself, it got an interesting etymology. They figure it comes from a couple places. It's either short for fiddle faddle, which is sort of a British term for nonsense or something pointless. The more scholastic among us think it comes from the Latin or like the term fatuous meaning stupid. It's used basically to describe a fashion or a craze that usually centers around something trivial, so not really important, but something trivial, which has been adopted or pursued for a short time, but with like an irrational amount of zeal. That's what makes it a fad, is that it's a fashion or a craze that is just people go crazy for a short amount of time. So that by definition is a fad, and our culture is built around them. I mean, our consumer culture is driven by these things. Everybody's trying to find the next fad, trying to pursue the next fad, trying to create the next fad. And problem is you can never know what it is. The fidget spinner is a great example of that, in that it was invented 20 years before by some school teacher or something. And it was a year before the big, craze here. She actually let the patent slide because she didn't think nobody really cared, and nobody wanted to sell it. Then a year later, all of a sudden, kablamo, she's not getting any of this stuff, and fidget spinners are everything in the whole world.
Yeah.
And so you can never tell what these things are, but essentially our consumer culture is driven by cool. We're driven by seeking the next cool thing, and because we are we are so fad based, as in our attention spans are so short. We end up really burning these things out quick.
I too have a fatuous answer based off the top of my head that I could fiddle diddle through, but I think that Elle did a really good job there. So yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
But how about tweeting?
Tweeting?
Is that a fad?
It could be.
One, it's funny because if one of the definitions is that it's for a short amount of time, then you can't really call tweeting a fad. However, that being said, is it going to be around for like in the grand perspective of time when we start talking about eons and epochs and junk like that? Would we be looking back at tweeting as a fad? I think maybe historians will probably look at stuff like that and call it a fad. Like putting a buckle on your hat,
a flash in the pan. Yeah. So can fads be good or bad? And I guess I'll kind of connect it to the second part of the question. You can answer it how you want. But should Christians outrightly reject fads, or should they adopt them somehow?
Fads are absolutely stupid, and Christians should not be involved in them in any way. That's what my fidget spinner
he said
had to say about
as
that.
he spins his fidget spinner into the microphone.
Yes, because somehow the microphone picks up the visual representation of the fidget spinner. Chad, microphone sound.
Go faster?
Yes, we can.
I can't.
That's a very sensitive microphone.
You know what about the fad thing is that there's two sides to the fad issue. One is that it's fun, it builds culture, it reinforces things in our and I'm specifically talking as a Christian. It's fun, it's interesting, it creates a topic that we can all discuss and we can rally around for a little while, and it's for that matter because it is vapid or fatuous or silly, it's really not that big a deal. So like a fidget spinner is not going to be the difference between your discipleship going off the rails or not. However, at the same time, there is a lot because it can actually trivialize important things and misdirect the church if you get onto some of these other things that become fads that are also tied into Christian teachings. So for example, WWJD had a WWJD wristband, right? And it seems like a good idea. It seems like, okay, what would Jesus do and all the rest of that stuff? But then it sort of takes on a life of its own and creates almost its own theology, which has to be now undone, right? So that can be very dangerous. Another one, for example, Prayer of Jabez, right? Where that was, I would factor that under fad in that it came in, everybody went crazy with it, everybody was studying it, but it was wrong. A lot of the theology in it was wrong.
I'd file that under eisegesis.
Okay. Purpose-driven church, that would be another one. Everybody was like, we have to have purpose-driven churches. Yeah. Rick Warren's church was 30,000 people, and if we copy what he did, then we'll be 30,000 people too. And they just kind of wholesale copied it without really thinking it through. Not that he had bad stuff, but it was not driven by the Holy Spirit. It wasn't driven by conviction. It wasn't driven by Scripture. It was driven by a fad mentality. One could argue that Mark Driscoll was a fad. In that he went high, he burnt out, right?
He's back, baby.
He's back now. So I don't know how that works, but so are lava lamps and all half the things that Steve talked about.
Yeah, most of the things have a personal connection to me. So
right? You know, it's interesting. That just reminds me what you're talking about there, though, El, in general. In the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus is talking about anxiety, and he brings out that illustration about the lilies of the field. And how Solomon in all his glory wasn't clothed as one of these. And then he says, if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you? And one of the illustrations there was just from something temporary that we enjoy, the beauty of the flower. We were able to think about the nature of our desires and our hopes and apply that to our understanding of anxiety and draw something from it. So I think there's ways in which, it's not to take everything and make it all spiritual because that gets into silliness, but there is a way in which when we're looking at these things, temporary things do show us something about permanent things. And I think sometimes with some of these fads, we kind of laugh at like the ones I didn't remember, but like lava lamps and stuff. I think, yeah, who would be into that sort of thing? But it really does show you that we have this desire to hold on to precious things. And the most precious thing is that we find in our hope in God. So there's a sense in which we can relate to some of these fads, perhaps.
Well, I'm one of the guys that got up really early and went with all my family to Starbucks to get the unicorn frappuccino, because I knew it was only going to be on for a very short period of time. It was going to be a thing we did together as a family for fun. It was just, I didn't really think about it from a theological perspective, but just something to do that was fun. But at the same time, I think there's a danger of being driven by novelty, in that you don't set down roots if you're always being carried by the winds of novelty. You don't really sit down. Like, how can you sit down and read a book and a systematic theology and really ground yourself in truth and witness and history, because that takes so much energy and so much time, and it requires so much of you. Whereas the fads and the novelty, it doesn't require of you anything. It because it's here today and gone tomorrow, and it's you don't have to really process it. You just kind of experience it, grab onto it, and move on. It's almost like a shot of adrenaline that just happens to you.
One of the most interesting things I think that we have in big picture thinking is that when we reject God and live our own way, and that can be as Christians. Many Christians live with what I call a practical atheism today. We just live as if God was irrelevant and unimportant in the world that he has made. We end up in, I think Francis Schaeffer maybe was one of the ones first to popularize the idea, but Os Guinness has really developed. We end up moving into either a place of despair or a place of distraction. When we don't have the hope of God, we end up facing the darkness of life and we lose hope. And we can fall into despair, or we can say, I need to escape this darkness with distraction. And our whole culture seems to waver back and forth. Somebody I heard once traced it. I thought it was quite insightful. Almost decade by decade through the 20th century, you can see how, we get down real serious. And we have like we have the political conservative movement of the 80s, balancing budgets and being austere and getting the world straightened out. And then we come into the 80s and everything's just, let's have fun, let's spend money, let's have things go really well. And you can kind of see all these happen like this. So it's a little bit of fun that way. Even in music, you can track the music of the 60s, which was the happy British invasion kind of stuff, and in the 70s, which was a lot darker kind of music. And it's the distraction, despair dichotomies. So I think that's a huge lesson that maybe we can take from fads as well. Is they're here today, gone tomorrow, but God is there for all time.
Well, and James talks about being unstable, tossed around by the winds. And that image is a few different places in the scripture, and that the idea of that you're rootless, you're anchorless, and you are not the one charting your path. You're not allowing God to chart your path. You're just being bashed against it. Wherever the winds go, and that's where you end up going, and you feel you're either in despair going, I am directionless and I don't know what's happening and I'm out of control, or you're like, oh, look at, we're going this way, oh no, we're going that way, or something. And it really is, I think that is crazy insightful. I know you didn't think about it, but boy, I'll give you sure credit for it. I know a lot of people
about it, I just didn't think it up.
A lot of people are like that. A lot of people, they waver between, and I know Christians, they waver between utter despair, as in the world's coming to an end, I just sure can't wait till Jesus comes back, there's nothing good here, everything sucks, and just jumping on every possible craze possible that they could just distract themselves for a minute. And whether that's a Netflix thing that they're just sucking down, or the next Bible study, or the next whatever, just as long as they can keep themselves distracted, they feel they can ward off the fear or whatever.
And I think that's the great danger to us, even spiritually. And that's why scriptures tell us we're not to sorrow as those who have no hope, and we're to focus on the things that are above. But I think at the same time there is balance that can be had.
Yes, I mean, we don't want to be sticking. I mean, you look at churches, right? Do you remember Dungeons and Dragons a while back? Like in the 80s, people lost their minds over Dungeons and Dragons because they thought it would, like, literally just Satan was taking over all the children of the nation, period. And they was using Dungeons and Dragons. It was massively overblown. It was completely wrong. Even the stuff that they were citing as examples of how Dungeons and Dragons went bad was like basically made up. And so
I think if I remember correctly, there's kind of a bit of a scandal like that, because that was part of that Warnke scandal. The guy that
Mike Warnke. Yeah. I mean, Mike Warnke, he was a great example of a faddish type speaker, in that everybody bought his tapes. They thought it was the greatest thing ever, and it turns out he was completely faking it. But my point is that churches can look at these fads and they can judge them immediately that they're evil and wrong and bad, and why are you so distracted and this is horrible, and not see anything good in them, not see anything helpful in them. And at the same time, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the pastor that does that, because I don't think they're really that cataclysmic. At the same time, I don't want to be the pastor that gives you advice and says, do whatever you want, get caught up in the fads. They don't matter. They're all pointless because they won't have any effect on your soul, because that's absolutely not true either. As with most things, down the middle, self-control, foundation of Scripture, but also enjoying the good things that God gives you and the fun that you have with people around you. At the same time, understanding everything through a biblical worldview. Right?
Yeah. Great. Well, we should wrap up, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We did it. 100 episodes.
Woo! Oh.
So, yay! Next time is the official Dalmatian episode.
Leave me hanging, guys. Just leave me hanging.
It's not the first time. But remember, comment, subscribe, do all the things to get the entered for the contest for the Carnivore Theology.
Chad, Steve, take another crack at that.
Okay, yeah.
I'll re-edit it for you.
Okay. For the 100th episode prize, make sure you comment, you like, you share to get one of these amazing, beautiful, this one's transparent even. You hold up the light, you can see through it.
3D printed awesomeness of our logo. It is so cool. So, yeah.
That's good. Thank you so much for listening.
And the merch. Don't forget about the merch
store. Merch store, yes.
Don't forget to go check out the
short term up to, we said, what's the date?
21 days from whenever we recorded it. So
mid-October.
Yep, mid-October.
Buy our merch, says the Hypnotoad.
T-shirts, coffee mugs, totes, sweaters. We got them all. So check them out. To find out more about Carnivore Theology, check us out on our website, carnivoretheology.com. If you want more content, check out our CT Shorts, our YouTube channel. If you like what we're doing, please share with your church and friends. Like us on Facebook, rate us on iTunes, and as always, we encourage you to connect with your local biblical church and keep your eyes on the cross.
All right. Here's to 100 more.
Hey guys, the doors aren't opening.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can get this lever over here, Steve. I set it up. It was a bit complex. Just stand right by it, Steve, and see if you can kind of get it open when I pull this lever here.
Okay,
You ready?
Okay, you want me to pull down on it?
Yeah, I'm pulling down, and you squeeze your way in.
Okay, I'm almost through. Just let me. I need a little butter.
Okay.
Ooh, there's a little bit of a problem. That's engaged the get rid of the air valve.
Clean up in aisle 4.
Okay, Steve, we'll get you.
We'll be back.
I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, I think
guys, my legs.
Hold on one sec. I just remembered something. Did we have that trap door installed?
Oh yeah, we can get out.
I mean, if we have the choice between not breathing and alligators, which would you pick?
Oh, yeah, there was that. Well, let's go out the back door and we'll let Steve decide which he prefers.
Okay. All right.
The big red button, Steve. See ya.
Big red button, Steve. Bye.
Leave him behind.
Leave him behind.
Adios.
You guys suck.
Okay. Hit stop.
It's stop.
Hey, thanks for watching our Carnivore Theology recording of our podcast. Check out down below. See the subscribe button? Click on that if you haven't done it before. We would love if you clicked like, commented on the video. That'd be awesome. Also, over here, check out our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and also, if you want to ask us a question, we'd love it when people use the SpeakPipe page. So leave us an audio question. Thank you again for watching, and keep your eyes on the cross.